Shalom. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawahshi, Bahashem, Ka, Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. This is Shabai from the GMS Denver camp. And I'm going to go in through the Spirit tonight in Proverbs, the 8th chapter. I'm going to start at the top and see where the Spirit takes me. Alright, so verse 1 it says, "Doth not wisdom cry and understanding put forth her voice? She standeth in the top of high places, by the way in the places of the paths. She crieth at the gates, at the entry of the city, at the coming in at the doors. Unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of men." And it's the Israelites. And who wisdom is crying, it says at the top of the high places. And it also goes on to say at the gates, at the entry of the city. And this represents the prophets who are in the street corners, teaching, holding the camps. Okay? This is wisdom. We have the understanding, the wisdom of the Holy Scriptures. And we're out prophesying, teaching our people, showing them their transgressions, lifting up our voice like a trumpet. That's why, brothers, when you see brothers on the street corners, they're talking loud so that everybody can hear. Because this is a commandment of Yahawahshi, for everybody need to hear this word to come out before the end comes. Isaiah 58:1, "Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins." Okay? So that's why we speak loudly. If you're you play the trumpet, or you're in the band and you play the trumpet is loud, right? And so that's why it's likened unto a trumpet when we're out there street preaching, right? In the street corners, on the highways and the hedges, in the chief place of concourse, right? Let's see, I'm gonna grab make sure this thing's going. Also, it's prophecy. It's we're supposed to be seen when we're out there teaching. Okay, that's why you can't just do lessons and from your home or in your room and expect to fulfill that prophecy, because people can see you on the internet, but you got to be out on the highways and the hedges, I'll go back to that Proverbs. It says, "Crieth in the gates at the entry of the city." That's not your bedroom. That's how actually going out and teaching on the street. Okay, going out in the chief place of concourse, like the scripture speaks about. Isaiah 30:20, it says, "And though Yahawah, Bahashem Yahawahshi, give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner any more, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers." Okay? So this is prophecy. This is why you see the teachers out on the street corners, because it's prophecy. Your eyes are going to see your teachers. Okay? And only the elect are going to hearken to the words of the prophets, to the words of Yahawah Bahashem Yahawahshi, who has his servants, the prophets, out there. And it's really for your mercy. Alright? Because Yahawah Bahashem Yahawahshi, before he does anything, what does he do? He sends his prophets. And he gives us the secrets, the mysteries, the understanding. And then we're, through the Spirit, we're moved to go out and preach his word. Publish it, declare it, right? So we'll go to, oh man, I had a precept in mind and it slipped my mind now. All right, I'll go back. It'll come back through the Spirit. So in Proverbs 8, in verse 5. O ye simple, understand wisdom, and ye fools, be ye of an understanding heart. A fool is a non-believer, you know. So, you know, the simple is somebody who doesn't understand, right? Let's actually get that word in the blue letter. Let's see. Let's get it in the blue letter. The word simple. Oh, ye simple. Okay, let me play it.
Strong's H 6612.
Pethi. All right, that's simple. Let me get the. It goes simplicity, naive, foolish, open-minded. You see? And what does this world teach? It says, oh, it's good to be open-minded, open to new ideas, this and that. But in reality, we're supposed to be closed-minded to this knowledge, to this truth. All right, this is the only thing that we should believe, and that's the only thing we're gonna believe if you're of the elect. You're not gonna be pulling from different religions or different books or philosophies, and you know, throwing every ingredient in a soup, and then you know, comparing it to like ingredients in a soup, and then you come with a finished product. No, you just, it's one doctrine, one truth. Right? One accord. The men, we're all on one accord. And why? It's because the scriptures links us together in the Spirit. Okay? Verse 6. Hear, for I will speak of excellent things, and in the opening of my lips shall be right things. And this applies to the true prophets. Okay? Because you got a lot of false prophets out here. They're speaking things that are not excellent of the scriptures. Okay? For my mouth shall speak truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips. Right? And that's what it is. Wickedness would be anything that would be, considered like if you're teaching and you're teaching lies, or you have guile in your mouth, deceit. You have, a spirit of deception or trickery. You like the so-called white man. What did he do? He went and deceived the whole world, set himself up as God. And so a lot of our people, the Israelites, are, in that darkness. But the true prophets, we're giving you the truth according to the Holy Scriptures. So, wickedness would literally be an abomination to our lips. So, for instance, if we was pushing Cracker Jesus, that's an abomination to our lips. Because why? We know that Yahawahshi, they're both what you would call so-called black men. That's what they look at, like in the flesh. Yahawahshi looked like he was a so-called black man, a dark-skinned Negro. Okay? And the Father looks like the Son, like it tells you in the Scriptures. If you have seen the Son, you have seen the Father. Right? Let's get that verse. If you have seen the Son, you have seen the Father, KJV. I believe Yahawahshi was telling that to, he spoke those words to Philip. Okay, let's go to John. (14:9). It says, Yahawahshi saith unto him, Have I been so long time with you, And yet hast thou not known me, Philip? He that hath seen me hath seen the Father. And how sayest thou then, show us the Father? See Philip right here in verse 8, he says, Philip saith unto him, Yahawahshi, show us the Father, and it sufficeth us, right? And Yahawahshi said unto him, have I been so long time with you, and yet thou not known me, Philip? He that hath seen me hath seen the Father. And how sayest thou then, show us the Father? Okay? Because Yahawahshi looks like his father Yahweh. You know? Proverbs 8. And 8. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness. There is nothing froward or perverse in them. They are all plain to him that understandeth, and right to them that find knowledge. Right, so the elect, you know, this, when we are out there teaching, the elect will hear it, hear the doctrine, hear the scriptures being read out, hear them being broken down by the prophets, and it's easy for the elect to understand this. It's plain, like it says here, they are plain to him that understandeth. I mean, you have to be of the elect for it to be plain to you. Otherwise, if you're not of the elect, you're going to be sitting here wrestling with the truth and you know, going back and forth with the prophets. When it's there, you know, it's simple. If you're of the elect, this doctrine, this knowledge, you know, the Holy Spirit is going to deal with you, meaning you'll get understanding. Okay, it's going to be plain to you, plain to the simple, right? And the simple are the members of the elect who, you know, they've just been introduced to the truth, right? But then guess what? It becomes plain to the simple, you know. Receive my instruction, and not silver and knowledge rather than choice gold. So this truth, this understanding that we have, it's more valuable than gold or silver or rubies or anything you know, when it comes to currency or you know, money. Gold, silver cannot compare to wisdom. We know that gold and silver are not going to get us salvation, but wisdom is gonna be a profitable for the ones who find her. And I say her because wisdom is personified as a woman in the scriptures. In the Greek, the way you say wisdom is Sophia. It's likened unto a woman. Okay? For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired that are not to be compared to it. So you can't compare nothing to wisdom. Doesn't matter if you have a badass woman, you have all kind of money in your bank account, you know, big ass mansion, big ass castle, big ass, you know, dwelling. No, none of that stuff compares to wisdom. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. Okay? And this is a beautiful verse because, you know, this shows you wisdom deals with prudence. So prudence, it means to considering the future. And it says, and to find knowledge of witty inventions. So what's a witty invention that they're going to be implementing into this society, into this, you know, they're going to mandate the, you know what, the mark of the beast, the micro RFID, micro CHIP. And that's a witty invention, right? Let me go to this verse real quick, and I'm going to get a little deeper, look up that word witty. Okay, here it is. So that word witty, or actually put it all together, witty inventions. And this is it in the let me see. This is actually in the Hebrew, witty.
Strong's
Witty invention.
H4209. Mezimah.
Mezimah. That's how you say witty invention in Hebrew. Mezimah. Okay. And it goes into wicked device, thought intense, mischievous device, wickedly, witty inventions, lewdness, and mischievous. All right, and so, okay, also purpose, discretion, device, plot. Okay, so we're those prudent men. Matter of fact, let me grab that. I think it's Proverbs 18, but let me just make sure. Prudent man hides himself, KJV. Okay, Proverbs 22. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Okay, and that's how it's going to be during Jacob's trouble. You know, the elect, they're going to have that wisdom. They're going to apply wisdom. If you're of the elect during the Jacob's trouble, when shit gets real chaotic and shit hits the fan, you're going to be off the grid, man, pretty much. You're going to be hiding yourself. You're not going to be putting yourself in stupid situations that could lead to your death or your demise. You're going to, and also another thing with this thing hiding ourselves is when it's time to, when they're calling for the micro CHIP to be mandated, you're not going to take it because you're going to rather hide yourself than to take that micro C-hip. All right, but the simple, what are they going to do? They're going to pass on, they're going to take the C-hip, and they're going to be punished for that. Okay? So these wicked devices, these wicked, witty inventions, the elect, we have the wisdom to know what it is. Matter of fact, when you go to Revelation, it tells you, Revelation 13 and 16, at the end of I'll read verse 13 and 16. This is talking about the micro C-hip, okay? The RFID MOTB, small device the size of a grain of rice, right? It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? That charagma, which is what mark is in Greek, which is an etching in the flesh, right? That's what that RFID CHIP is going to be, an etching in your flesh, a cut in your flesh. They got to stick it in your flesh and they got to cut you with that needle to inject it, all right? That's mark in the Greek, charagma. All right, verse 17. That no man might buy or sell, save that he had the charagma, okay, or the name of the beast, or the name of his name, or the number of his name. See here, verse 18. This is the point. Here is wisdom. Okay, so the men who have the wisdom, we're gonna hide ourselves. We're gonna avoid at all costs taking that micro CHIP. All right. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. Okay, and we've been reading about understanding in Proverbs. All right, get understanding at all costs. Right, that's what the scriptures says. Get wisdom, better than rubies, better than gold, better than silver. Because when you have wisdom, you're going to have the knowledge and the understanding to avoid that wicked invention, that wicked device that I'm speaking about. here in Revelation 13, Yahweh is telling us, through John the Revelator, that hey, this is that mark. Esau Edom, he's going to mandate, make it a law, make it an executive order where you're going to have to take it to function in his society. But guess what? In the simple, they're going to pass on. They're going to take it. They're going to get in the shipping station line. And they're going to, seal their fate when they do that. In which their fate is going to be destruction, death and destruction. Verse 18, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Also known as 666, the mark of the beast number. Okay? You got to have wisdom. You could be a smart person, a lot of these Edomites, they're smart, but none of them have wisdom. There's a difference between smart and being smart and being wise. Okay? Let's go back to Proverbs 8 and 12. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and find out knowledge of witty inventions. The fear of Yahweh is to hate evil. Pride and arrogancy and the evil way and the froward mouth do I hate. Okay? And we know how arrogant Esau Edom is. Just look at their leader. Look at their so-called president, DJT. How is he not arrogant? Is he not prideful? Is he not evil? Evil means bad times. Is he not putting bad times right now on the tribe of Issachar? I could say Jake, and I could say the tribes, but mainly right now the heat's on Issachar, and really a lot of the Latin tribes, because they're like Venezuelans and other tribes that are going through that evil right now, that bad time. Every day you look on the internet and you see ICE hunting down the northern kingdom of Israel. Verse 14, counsel is mine and sound wisdom. I am understanding. I have strength. By me kings reign and princes decree justice. Talking about wisdom still. By me princes rule and nobles, even all the judges of the earth. Okay? And the true judges of the earth are the 144,000 prophets, who we gather this oil, we gather this wisdom, we gather this understanding, and then in the spirit we're qualified in the eyes of Yahawahshi to be the judges of the earth. It tells you in Psalms 10? It says, be wise now, therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Okay? So the men who are in the right spirit, wearing the right garment, purifying our garments, we are those kings and those judges, right? Because we know that we're going to be kings in the kingdom. We're going to be joint heirs with Yahawahshi. Yahawahshi we know he's the King of Kings, right? That's one of his monikers. That's one of his titles. So if we're joint heirs and Yahawahshi is a king, so what do you think we're going to be? We're going to also be kings. We're already kings right now, but in the spirit, just not in the flesh. All right? Let's see, Proverbs 8. And where am I at? 17. I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. And early is what? Before Yahawahshi visit the earth. Okay? We're seeking this knowledge. We're seeking this wisdom early. Right? Look at our elders. They've been on the street corners since, late 80s, early 90s. And then their elders were on the streets even before that. Okay? But that's seeking Yahawahshi early. Verse 18. Riches and honor are with me, durable riches and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold, than fine gold, and my revenue is than choice silver. Okay? So look at that. Let me get that word revenue just to see what it says here in the blue letter. Let's see here. Close that out. Okay, let's see. It says it looks like Tebow, like Tim Tebow. Let's see how it's pronounced.
Strong's H8393. Tevuah. Tevuah.
Tebuah. But when you spell it, it looks like Tim Tebow. That the dude, the quarterback, he was basically a linebacker playing quarterback, and nobody wanted to sign him because he couldn't throw and he was a quarterback. But he actually had a good year in Denver. He took the Broncos to the playoffs, even though all that shit's rigged and fixed. But they scripted it up for him to get to the playoffs the year he actually played. But anyway, I'm off subject. I just, when you look at the blue letter, when you look up revenue, it's like basically reminded me of that dude Tim Tebow, and he's a pagan Christian over there pushing Cracker Jesus, so that he's through. But anyway, back to the lesson. Proverbs 8 and let's see, and 20. Oh, by the way, I didn't read you the revenue, what it meant. It says produce, product, revenue, crops. So let's go back to that. And my revenue, then choice silver. Okay. Gain, income. And I knew what revenue meant, but I just wanted to see what it said according to the blue letter. But it says product of lips, a gain, income, revenue, product, yield, crops of the earth usually. All right, so that's revenue. So let's go back to the scripture. Verse 20. It says, I lead in the way of righteousness in the midst of the paths of judgment, that I may cause those that love me to inherit substance, and I will fill their treasures. Right? Because like I told you, we're going to be joint. If you're of the elect, and really, especially the prophets, you're going to be a joint heir with Yahawahshi. All right? So that's how you're going to have a lot of substance. I will fill their treasures, you see? Because wisdom is a far better, far more valuable treasure than, like we've been reading, than the money, the silver, the gold. Joint heirs, KJV. Because I don't want to say that false name. We don't like to say that name, man. We don't like uttering it. If we can avoid saying it, we will. And the name I'm talking about is the false name. Cracker, you know who. Alright, Romans 8 and 17. And if children, then heirs, heirs of the Most High Yahweh, and joint heirs with Yahawahshi HaMashiach. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. Okay? Let me read 19. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of the Most High. Right? Because we're going to manifest into something way better than we are right now. Okay? And it's going to be shown. You know? Let me get that other verse. Then shall my elect be known. KJV. Okay, second Ezra
73. Then shall they be known, who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. 74. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord.
Second Ezra.
Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same.
Alright, so the computer was reading it off for me, but let me grab it. Second Ezra 16 and 73. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. It says, "Oh, hear, O ye my beloved," which is the elect. Saith Yahawahshi, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide. Alright, so we're commanded to not be afraid, and the Most High is our guide. And that's why we have the Comforter, the Holy Spirit, the Scriptures, to build us up in the Spirit, to give us wisdom, to give us understanding, and to be a prudent generation of His servants, the prophets. Right? Because we consider the future, we consider the prophecies. We understand the future, we understand the prophecies, and it's all because of the Holy Spirit dealing with us, and it's because it's a gift from Yahawahshi to get this wisdom. Okay? There's a verse, let me see, what is it? Is it Sirach or Wisdom of Solomon? Let me see, Wisdom of Solomon, maybe? Ooh, call out Yahawahshi was Wisdom of Solomon 8 and 21. It says, nevertheless, when I perceived that I could not otherwise obtain her, talking about wisdom, except the Most High gave her me, and that was a point of wisdom also, to know whose gift she was. I prayed unto Yahawahshi and besought Him, and with my whole heart I said, okay, and I'm not going to read Wisdom of Solomon 9, but the point being is that the Most High, it's even a portion of wisdom to know where you got the wisdom. It's from the Most High. It's not of ourselves. He had mercy on us. Oh, that was the precept I was getting. See, I told you through the Spirit it would come back, and it did. So we're going to go to, and we always bring this verse out, but I'm going to bring it out again, because I was telling you earlier that the Most High Yahawahshi, His Son, before they do anything, He gives the understanding to His prophets, His servants. Right? Amos 3 and 7. Surely Yahawahshi, the Most High, will do nothing, but He revealeth His secret unto His servants, the prophets. Alright? So before He destroys Babylon, America, He's going to give His servants, the prophets, the heads up. That's why we have the Spirit to tell you what's going to happen. Because the Most High gave us this gift of wisdom, and now we're declaring it and publishing it on the planet Earth through the Spirit and power of Yahawahshi, and giving you that warning, blowing that trumpet. Because the Most High, He's not going to be that. He's not unfair. Okay? He's not going to be, bringing a destruction and then not giving you no warning. He's going to set up His men, His servants, the prophets. They're going to give you the warning, and then the destruction comes. And at that point, it's going to, the blood is washed off our hands. And it's if you don't listen to the trumpet, if you don't listen to the warning sign, if you don't listen to the mouth of Yahawahshi, which are His prophets, then tough. All right, you're gonna be part of the destruction if you don't listen. If you're an Israelite and you don't listen. If you're a heathen, you're just SOL, because the heathen, you're not going to, there's no salvation for the heathen nations. All right? But that in itself is a whole nother lesson, okay? So this is Proverbs 8. And let's see, where did I leave off? 20. I lead in the way of righteousness in the midst of the paths of judgment, that I may cause those that love me to inherit substance, and I will fill their treasures. Remember, I read it. Joint heirs with Yahawahshi. The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way before his works of old. Right? So, we're the possessions of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And he's set us up this way before the works of old. So even before the foundations of the earth had been set up, the Lord had already chosen his servants, the prophets. He's already chosen his elect. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. So even before the earth was, right? We know that. It tells you that in Ephesians, the first chapter. Let's grab it. Ephesians, the first chapter, it says, verse 4, according as he hath chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love, having predestinated us unto the adoption of sons by Yahawahshi HaMashiach to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will. Okay? So we've been predestinated before the foundations of the world. That's why we always tell you, like, hey, if you're of the elect, if the Most High has already ordained you, predestinated you, chose you to be of the elect, there's nothing you can do to fuck that up. Because there's nobody that can be, if the elect cannot be plucked out of the Father's hand, okay? And if you're not of the elect, by the same token, there's nothing you can do to make yourself the elect, because everything has been predestinated, predetermined, But you never learned that in the pagan Christian church. Because if they told people that, a lot of these people would be even more wicked, man. Because they'd be like, to hell with it. I remember when I first came into knowledge, I was talking to this Edomite, and he may have been a Jake, but he may have been an Edomite also. And I had kind of shared some truths with him, that's one of the statements he made. Well, he's, fuck, if I'm fucked like that, I should just go crazy out there and go on a rampage, you know what I'm saying? That's the way he was thinking. Proverbs 8 and... let me see, where am I at? Okay, verse 23. I was set up from the everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. Right, just what I read in Ephesians. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no fountains abounding with water. Right, before the foundations of the earth. All right? Let me just Google this real quick to see what it say. Let's see. Let me see what it say. What are the foundations of the earth? Let's just see what it says. Oh, okay. It says the earth's layered structure, primarily the crust, the mantle, and the core. All right. The crust, tectonic plates. Okay, so it's talking about actual the depth and the structure of the earth. I thought maybe the water would pop up or something there, but it didn't. But anyway, let's move on. verse 8, it says, before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. Woo! See? So we were there, man. If you're of the elect, especially if you're of the 144,000, the Elohim, who helped Yahawahshi with the creation, boom, this is a good reference right here. Proverbs 8 tells you we were there before the heavens, before the earth was created. You know? That's Yapa. Highlight that one, Proverbs 8. Let me just go. Let's see. I'm going to go to... Well, let me read this. It says, when he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep, when he gave the sea his decree, that the waters should not pass his commandment, when he appointed the foundations of the earth. And that's what we read in what do you call it? Okay? So, you know, like I was saying, if you're the elect, you've been the elect, man. Maybe that's what I'll name this. You know? We call ourselves the hopeful elect because we're humble. We're not prideful like the pagan Christians who say they're already saved, you know. We say we're the hopeful elect. But like I say, if you are ordained, predestinated to be the elect, or you are the elect, you've been the elect. You know, the Spirit has been on you to be the elect. And you found your lot in every life that you've lived. You know, every time you've been reincarnated, regenerated, you've always been that elect soul. And wisdom has entered into your soul, you know, and made you a servant and a friend and a prophet. You know, and I'm quoting Wisdom of Solomon 27 and 27. All right, so let's keep reading anyway. So you know what, this might be my lesson for tomorrow, for the group lesson. Why not? Okay. Let's see. When he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of deep, when he gave the sea his decree that the waters should not pass his commandment, talking about you know, because even the mountains and the oceans were given commandments. Like the ocean couldn't overtake the land, you know. Unless it was during the time of Noah, then Yahweh had flooded the earth, but that's a different story, you know. Then I was by him as one brought up with him, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in the habitable part of the earth, and my delights were with the sons of men. Okay. Now therefore hearken unto me, O ye sons, for blessed are they which keep my ways. And that's the elect. And guess what? The elect are always going to keep his ways. The elect are always going to be established because it's a predestinated, preordained thing. If you're the elect, you've always been the elect. Okay? Let's get this. It brings me to this verse. The spirit of the prophets is subject unto the prophets. KJV. Okay, didn't get that, but yeah, let's get it. 1 Corinthians 14 and 32. And the spirit of the prophets are subject subject to the prophets. Okay? So that means if you were a prophet in the ancient, guess what? You come back in the reincarnation, the regeneration. You're still that same soul, that same soul that will find his lot and be a prophet of Yahawahshi. Okay? Those that have followed me in the regeneration, KJV. Let's grab this one too. Matthew 19:28. And Yahawahshi said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Remember, we are the ye judges of the earth. We're the kings. We're with Yahawahshi. We follow him in the regeneration. And that's what it is, man. We done followed Yahawahshi since before the foundation of the earth. See? We got history with Yahawahshi, man. We got timeless history. And we're going to, basically, just talking about it, we've never been without Yahawahshi. You see? We've never been without Yahawahshi. We've been with Yahawahshi from before the foundations of the earth. We've been through with Yahawahshi through all the regenerations, the different lives we've had, the reincarnations, all the different captivities, and up all the way up unto this day, which Yahawahshi is about to, be back with us at the time of when we're joined in the clouds with Yahawahshi, when we're joined in the clouds with the Lord, when we joined in the chariot. Okay, and then after that, the kingdom, we're going to be with Yahawahshi forever. You see, right now he's with us in the spirit. We have the Comforter. In times past, hey, we were there. He was there. Some of us walked with him in fucking Rome and shit. That's crazy, man. But that's what it is. Yahawahshi always been with us. Okay? Let's get Proverbs. Eight 28. It says, when he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep, when he gave the sea his decree, that the waters should not pass his commandment, when he appointed the foundations of the earth, then I was by him, as one brought up with him, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in the habitable parts of the earth, and my delights were with the sons of men. Now therefore hearken unto me, O ye children, for blessed are they that keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and refuse not. Right? Because the ones who choose to not hear instruction, those are the same ones that are going to be destroyed. You choose to ignore the trumpet. Let me see. Is it so? Maybe it's Proverbs 5:10. Yeah. Proverbs 5:10. And thou mourn at the last, when the flesh and thy body are consumed. And this is talking about the 2/3 and basically the 2/3. Because it says, and say, how have I hated instruction, and my heart despised reproof, and have not obeyed the voice of my teachers. Remember, you were going to see your teachers. It says, thine eyes shall see the teachers. And you 2/3 of our people, the wicked portion of our people, they choose to, ignore the truth. They choose to ignore, the mouth of Yahawahshi, and they hate instruction. Their mind despises reproof. That's why they're going to get their flesh and their body consumed. By what? By nuclear fire. When you go into that word consumed, it's usually dealing with fire. And they have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined mine ear to them that instructed me. And that's why they're going to be regretting that they didn't listen. But it's going to be too late. You're going to be good in the kingdom, but you might have to, feel that fire, feel that heat first. And if you're not of the elect, which has followed Yahawahshi in the regeneration, you are definitely going to feel that heat, feel that fire, feel that nuclear fire. Proverbs 8. (34). Hear instruction and be wise and refuse it not. Blessed is the man that heareth me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the posts of my doors. So that's why we do these lessons daily, man. Because that's what this is going into. Blessed is the man that heareth me, watching daily. We're the watchmen. If in the ancient world, if you were one of the watchmen and you stood in the tower, right? Because that's another thing. The tower, we're the tower. That's another title for the prophets. The tower, if you're standing high in a tower, and if you're on the top, you can see further out. And that's what the prophets do. We see further out. We see the future because of the prophecies that we understand. Okay? And we watch daily. In the ancient world, if you were a watchman and you were assigned that post in the tower, and you didn't, you weren't watching, daily, right? If it's your watch, and you fell asleep, then what would happen to the people when the enemy invaded the city? They would be slaughtered. They would be killed. And that's the same thing with our people. They're going to be slaughtered and they're going to be killed because they refuse, right? They refuse wisdom. They reject knowledge. But you're going to be blessed if you listen to the voice of the mouth of the Lord, his prophets. Because like I said, he's given you Israelites mercy. But again, it's all preordained, predestinated. So if you're not listening, it's because the Most High, he set you up that way. He set you up to believe lies. He set you up to reject the truth, reject knowledge, reject wisdom, refuse the truth, He sets you up to fail. And that is also from the beginning. Because you have the elect who have been since before the foundations of the earth, like we've been reading. Then you have the non-elect of Israel, who you have also been set up to be the non-elect since before the foundations of the earth. Well, actually, that's, I'm not sure on that part. So scratch what I just said there, because I think the non-elect, obviously they've been preordained, but I don't believe they were there for the for the creation. So anyway, let's read verse 34. Blessed. Oh wait, I read that. Verse 35. For whoso findeth me findeth life, and shall obtain favor of Yahawahshi. But he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul. All they that hate me love death. And you hate the prophets, you hate his mouth, you hate the servants, you hate the truth, you hate the wisdom, you hate the knowledge, you reject it, you refuse it. And guess what? At the end of the day, you love death. Because that's what you're committing an evil against your own soul. If you reject this true knowledge that the Most High is declaring through His servants, the prophets, you hate yourself, man. But anyway, I'm going to close out on that. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahawah, Bahashim, Yahawahshi, Bahashim, Rakah, Kudash. Double honors goes out to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also, one I acknowledge Allah Akyam, who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom to the elect.